And welcome everybody to Captain's Draft for Rivalry here in Group B with Arkali's Angels, Arkali's Angles versus Arcane's Angels. As they've opted to call themselves, as we are going into a pro draft here. Just seeing the bands coming through thick and fast. Victor Oriana band away on the side of Arkali's side. Meanwhile, they've targeted away the Ramus away from Jack Attack. Not too surprised to see that. And the signature Morgana from Crusted Pants as well. Also decided to run it out with a GP ban away from Blanching Potato. So a lot of kind of strong kind of picks being taken away from certain players across the board. The Jhin, of course, still available here for Teflon, so that is going to be picked up, it looks like. Which has been one of his more kind of go-to champions throughout most of the tournaments he's played recently. Seeing the Ashe locked in here in response, along with the Hecarim. So definitely going to make the Jin's life a lot more difficult whenever those level 6s do come in. That hard engage is going to come through thick and fast. Looks like they are going to answer with the Udyr in response for Jack Attack. Obviously, both Hecarim and Udyr are probably the top 2 junglers in the meta at the moment. And not surprised to see one being picked in response to the other. Let's see how much influence Jack Attack can have on the game with this champion as we wait the final pick here on blue side for the first rotation. It will be the trash denied from Curtis, obviously one of his kind of more comfort picks. Obviously, he has a fairly sizable champion pool. Can also counter stuff like the Rel, which I think Curtis has been playing a lot of recently. So I think that's a nice denial away by the side of Arkali's Angles. Well, it looks like they are going to go ahead and lock in this Rel. So definitely lots of hard engage coming out here. Now, the Rel can be cooked somewhat by the Thresh, especially with the Flay if he gets the timing right. You can deny that kind of initial engage, but her team fighting, if she can get the combo off, is actually so nutty. And then you can just chain seats that in with the Hecarim Fears and the Ashe ultis, and it's just nuts. Like, it's just absolutely crazy. Let's see, second round bans coming through here. Shen denied away. And Aurelia here on the other side. So nice strong solo lane picks being denied away. They are going to deny, obviously, the Zoe Wei here from Arkali himself. It's been one of his most played champions. Not so much in recent memory, I believe. But definitely has shown that he can carry on it in the past. So I think it makes sense. Where you kind of have, so far you kind of have more poke-oriented comps or composition, along with your Jhin. And obviously having longer range CC to set up with the Jhin W would also be really nice for trying to close bubbles. So I think it's a good denial. And locking in the Malphite blind here, so they are saving counterpick here for mid lane for Arcane himself against the other captain, Arkali. And I think Malphite's good. Again, you're really kind of signifying exactly what she wants to do. It's all about that hard engage, all about that kind of combo team fight. And Arkali will end up blinding the Silas in return, so he has some really nice ultis to work with, especially the Malphite ulti. It's so nutty with that AP ratio. But also things like the Ashe ulti, the Hecarim ulti, I think are also like just really, really good. Not sure about the rel. Haven't actually seen that yet from Silas, so be interested to see if he manages to worm his way inside of a team fight, can that make a big impact in and of itself? And we'll see Mordekaiser locked in here for Vanishing Potato against Podrick Pierce on the Malphite. So looking more for the punish in the 1v1 lane more than necessarily any kind of team fight utility. That feels like what a lot of the setup here is from the side of Team Arkali. It's all about like a lot of good kind of lane matchups in a sense. Of course, and then there's the Cassiopeia, one of Arcane's most picked champions of all time. It has used that as a counter here to Silas. I'm not too familiar with how the matchup works, but I imagine if he can't get on top of her, then it's really hard. It'd be really difficult for him because she can just kite away. So with the Twin Fangs, so we'll see how that ends up going as we are going to go into the actual champ select because people don't own the champions, so we have to use Pro Draft. So we'll be back to you guys shortly. And welcome everybody to game 1 between Arkali's Angles and Arcane's Angels. I swear that will not get easier over the course of this night, but as we do get started here, it looks like a big group up here from the side of Arcane, but it looks like they're not going to try to do anything with it. Seems like they were just setting up for a counter invade, as the trash would set up Arkali's up pretty nicely for that, but not going to opt into that. We are doing the solo cast tonight, so gonna try doing a bit more chill and relaxed. Not gonna go too ham. We'll see how things end up progressing. But just kind of looking at the team comps overall, I do like Arcane's kind of composition a bit more. It's just a lot easier to execute, I feel like, especially when it comes around to these objectives. But obviously, oh, Ted kind of caught a bit AFK here. Takes a big chunk of damage from Arcane. It's not going to end up meaning a huge amount, more than likely though. But yeah, so like the onus is really on these kind of individual lanes of Team Arkali to kind of generate leads and make sure that they have that goal advantage going into those objectives if they actually want to have any sort of like advantage in that regard. Otherwise it's going to be super difficult for them. Oh, nice hook landing here onto Disco Drunk, as they do get level 1. And first blood for Ted Blonde. So clean from Krusty Pants. Disco Drunk definitely could have flashed that hook, but obviously did not respect the all-in damage there. And pays for it with his life and a blown heal too. Meanwhile, Patrick Pierce getting wailed upon here by Vanishing Potato. Does walk away for now and does have the corrupting pass to kind of choke back up to full, but this is the kind of start we want to see from the sort of setup here from Team Arkali. Meanwhile, we do see Witzel has invaded here on to Jack attacks red. He's going to steal that away. Slightly risky, because he wasn't been 100% sure if the bot lane had actually recalled there or not, but does get away with it and should get out here and get this bot scuttled. So he's gonna get himself off to a decent start. Seeing how it's happening, Arkali, not an awful lot of mana here in mid lane. Does have that corrupting pot to kind of get some of it back, but oh, engaged here by Curtis here on bot side. Has the level advantage and chunks out Krusty, forces out the flash. Has to respect the Hecarim gank there, so expecting stuff like this to continue here on the top side. Patrick Pierce is not going to have a fun time against the Mordekaiser. It's going to be forced back to a fountain. Does have the TP available though, so can catch this wave if it does get shoved in, but looks like Nice Potato maybe just freezing it here. Trying to punish her as much as possible in this matchup. And Arkali continuing to take a lot of punishment here underneath his third. Arcane is going to flank here by Jack Attack though. Does have the stun coming in, is going to chase down with the Tiger Stance and the Phoenix Stance. Does have the damage. Oh, nice flash by Arcane at the last second to avoid getting caught by Arkali. Trades flash with the mid laner. Doesn't have his CP though, so will lose out on a bunch of minions in XP here. Arkali himself actually can't even get the shove in because he's too low and doesn't want to risk getting counter ganked by the Hecarim. Oh, actually, that's opted to stay around, so greeting maybe just a little bit, but maybe just a bit too indecisive about what he wants to do there. Kind of has upset his reset there in a sense. Wave gonna actually probably just end up freezing for Arcane, and he's gonna get ganked by Whistle. Has no flash to get out of this, and Whistle is just gonna get that easy kill. So big mistake coming in from Arkali there. Gets punished for it pretty harshly. Not going to be happy about that one. Does have to TP back to mid lane to try catch this wave now. So no summoners on either mid laner. And I'll just taking a quick look across the board. Patrick Pierce, oh, almost getting caught there by Mordekaiser once again. Is getting really hard done by in this matchup. Down nearly 20 CS. Maybe end up having to go back to Fountain again. Does still have the TP though. So I guess trying to hold on to it as best as possible, possibly for a team fight breakout. And again just gets caught by that CC and gets chunked out. Has no more stacks at that corrupting pot, so gonna be harder to stick around underneath the cert. Of course, always difficult to dive a Mordekaiser, or a Malphite I should say, who has the ulti. Always very risky, especially when Mashed Potato isn't exactly the healthiest either. Oh, nice hook by Krusty once again. Gets the two-man play onto Driscoll Drunk, who just gets chain CD'd. Just can do so little about it. Once again, kill picked up by Ted Blonde. He's having a whale of a time here in bot lane. Just building up those Dark Harvest stacks. And meanwhile, Mashed Potato also TP'd in to get that Mordekaiser ulti off, and will get the kill for himself too. Oh, 1v1 here versus Arkali versus Arcane. It's getting so close, but it's the same coming out from Silas, and he will win out on it. Just barely. That verdant barrier, I think, really helping him there. So, well played there by Arkali. There's a massive lead for them now. Nearly 3k gold lead. That's 8 minutes in the game. Plus the first Infernal Drake. They're going to be so happy with that. That's a really great start for them. Let's see, resets coming through here. So Ted Blonde already a good bit towards his first mythic. Probably only needs a couple more waves to get that for himself. Has built up like a pretty decent lead here in the bot lane. Nearly 1k gold up on his opposing 80 carry. Just the Drunk not having the most fun time here on Ashe. There's a lot of hard engage that she's having to try and dodge out, and it's just not working out at the moment. Good game here by Krusty Pants so far. Definitely making those hooks worthwhile. Arcane continuing to get a lot of poke down here onto Arkali. Has built up a bit of a CS lead, but as we saw in that 1v1 earlier, still can lose those all-ins very easily, just due to just pure sustain that can come through from Silas. Absolutely disgusting. Oh, Patrick Pierce hooked in once again by the Mordekaiser, gets chunked at super hard, and is continuing just to try absorb whatever CS she possibly can underneath her turret. Mashed Potato very close to getting a play for himself, does manage to get it in the end there, so has a very sizable lead here in top lane just from that 1v1 pressure alone, and obviously getting that kill off the TP bot lane. He'll be pretty happy in regards to that. Is going to get flanked here by Witzel though. Not great health bars going out from Patrick Pierce, but she does have the chain CC. Oh, last minute Mordekaiser ulti forces out the flash, and Mashed Potato is going to feel real big. Oh, manages to get the trade kill in the end though with the Q. Very nicely done. Oh, massive ulti coming in here from Arcane as he manages to turn around with BGS. Curtis is just trying to kite Jack Attack away. Jack Attack barely will not get that kill. Arcane Oh, he was clenching at that one for sure. Just barely manages to fight that out in the end. Well played by them to turn around that fight. And I just completely missed the fact that Ash died once again. Got cut out in the 1v2. Oh, Krusty Pants Headblonde maybe getting cut out. Oh, nice interrupt by BGS Curtis, but ultimately they didn't have the positioning to follow up onto him. But a nice attempt to stop that Dark Passage going through fully. And we're seeing some good stuff from both teams so far. But it is Team Arkali with the 3k gold lead in their pockets, and they're continuing to kind of build that up here. Again, Blanche Potato just honestly having a, it's really uncontested up here in top lane. Still managed to get the 1v1 kill, or the 1-for-1 kill when he got ganked there, so is going to be pretty satisfied with how this is going so far. Oh, Patrick Pierce going for the ulti under tower. Don't know if she has the damage to keep this fight going. Does have her team to back her up though, as Arcane and Curtis do come in. And a kill picked up there by Arcane. 2-1-0 so far on the Cassiopeia. He's managed to stay relevant in the games, despite dying in the 1v1 versus Arkali earlier. Oh, Disco Drunk. He was having flashbacks. That hook barely missing. You can see pressure coming down here on mid lane. Arkali was looking potentially for a dive, but ended up backing off once they see the Hecarim showing in the try. Will end up just catching his wave under turret. Arcane maybe looking for some chip damage on here. I don't think he has necessarily skill pressure just yet, but oh, Disco Drunk caught out once again. It's just getting punished over and over again. 0-4-0 is not... It's just absolutely relentless against them down here. The worst position to be as an AD carry here at the moment, as it does mean Jack Attack is free to take this second dragon for themselves. Will grab themselves a cloud. And we'll see now what map it ends up being. It is going to be the Ocean Soul map, which is going to be pretty huge for either team. But obviously, you really favor Team Arkali if they can get their hands on that, because with all these kind of skirmishes that keep on happening, they can kind of keep them going in this kind of split map style. Pick people off individually, and you don't necessarily have to commit to these 5-on-5 fights. Which is potentially where you could lose it if Arcane's squad can kind of muster all that CC combo together. But so far, managing to keep their lead. Hasn't built up too much, still around just over 3k, so hasn't expanded an awful lot, but you can kind of see it's coming through with the items now. Headblonde has finished the Gale Force, where it's just a Manamune here on the Ash. So it looks like Disco Drunk got more for the spam W style here, at least to begin with. Oh, Death Sentence lands once again on Disco Drunk. Has to flash out, and it's getting chased on here by Jack Attack, plus the Jin ulti coming through. Oh, Headblonde landing all those shots. Does manage to pick up the kill on Curtis and on the Disco Drunk. 6-0 and 2 on the Jin. And again, just leads being built up here. 4k now, nearly 5. Oh, 4 I should say. And it means that they can start to push in under the start. You do see Whistle's trying to clear out the wave, defend this spot tier 1, but gets hooked once again. Krusty Pants putting on a clinic here with the trash. Had not barely missed a hook all game so far. And really playing very well. See Jack Attack looking to start up the Herald here in a few seconds. Has definitely more than enough pressure across the map. As he got priority in top and looking likely in mid. Or there might be a bit of fight breaking out here. Curtis and Arcane were fishing for a cheese bush gank, but ultimately they don't get it. Krusty's going to secure the sword here. Oh, Disco Drunk really has to play respectfully. You know, the Jhin now has a rapid fire and the Gale Force. Disco Drunk is easily going to get just... Yeah, like, you're just going to get run down. Like, Ted Blonde is just way too strong right now in this 1v1. A lot of disrespect there coming out from Disco Drunk. 0, 6, and 0. I have to go back to the drawing board in terms of this Ash pick, perhaps, or thinking about how they might change up the bans, because Krusty and Ted Blonde have definitely done a lot of work in the 2v2 here. Herald using mid lane. They have picked up that tier 1. Had a lot of damage onto tier 2. Gives Team Arkali a lot more access. Oh, flash here by Arcane to try to cut off Ted Blonde and trying to get that big juicy shutdown that's on the Jhin. But TP from Arkali comes down. Oh, another kill going over to Ted Blonde, who's getting so many stacks on this Dark Harvest. He's going to be so strong coming into the game. Oh, Krusty Pan's going in quite deep by himself though. In a 1v3. Flank from Jack Attack is coming down though, and Ted Blonde is also here to help out. Krusty Pants does go down for his hubris, but ultimately his team is here to kind of clean up that fight. And yeah, it's looking super rough for Team Arcane right now. 4 people dead, 20 seconds to the Ocean Dragon, which will put Team Arkali on sole point. Ted Blonde's going to pick up this bot lane turret here. And yeah, like, I can see that they're trying to make the proactive plays, and that's great and all, but it feels like the goal gap is just way too big at the moment. Like, you have to kind of just take the kill and just run, but they just got collapsed on so quickly that they couldn't, and they got punished for it super hard. See, Whistle is running down towards here, but is actually just going to end up taking his own Gromp. Isn't going to try contest for this dragon. I think that's fine. I think at this point they have to just try and get a little bit more gold in their pockets and look for some opportunity to start getting these actual, like, you know, the CC combo off that I kept talking about earlier, like, you know, Malphite, Hecarim, Rel, Ashe. Like, that's so much juicy engage you could be using, and they just don't seem to be ever able to get it off onto like a good target. Arkali face checking this bush though is going to get engaged on here, and that is the sum of that combo that I was talking about. Oh, Arkali though with stealing the Hecarim multi to get to safety. Absolutely huge. Really well played by Raj. Get out of that one. Maybe you say, I don't know, maybe the CC chain could have been done a little bit better between Curtis, Arcane, and Whistle. Stephanie felt like he should have just gone down there, but does escape with his life, does have that Everfrost in his pockets, plus that Verdant Barrier, so has that kind of the extra MR to kind of sustain, to like at least somewhat resist the burst from coming out from Arcane. And it's looking very difficult for Team Arcane. And 9k gold down. 20 minutes. pretty dicey. Tier 2 goes down the mid lane as well, so conceding even more pressure across the map. Project Pierce is going to get whacked a couple times by check attack, but isn't really under any kind of threat at the moment. You can see Arkali is down in bot lane. Doesn't have TP available. Arcane does, so if fight does break out in top lane, Arcane could join in for that. Arkali, though, is looking for the angle here. Ulti's just a little bit too late on Arcane. Don't know if that was like pre-buffered or not, and maybe didn't really necessarily want to go through during the original Cassiopeia ulti. Arcane manages to walk away there without getting all in. Of course, with the Everfrost, it can be pretty nasty to deal with. Oh, Witzel, though, forced to ulti out before he gets locked down by Jack Attack and Ted Blonde. Trunked out super hard. So, well, it's going to be lacking that crucial teamfight ulti for any kind of skirmish that's going to break out here. And just having his entire jungle is taken away here by Jack Attack now. Just denied so much gold. It's going to make it even harder for them to get back into the game. Nearly 10k gold now. See now, just taking a quick look at the items. That is a third item for Ted Blonde here on the gym. Has that collector finished, so a lot of bursts on, especially on the squishier members, such as Arcane and Disco Drunk. Plus having, so he has, I assume Ted has like a lot of Dark Harvest stacks at this point, given how many kind of last hits he was given. Got okay, it's just 11 stacks. It's decent enough. You combine that with the collector, it can be really potent, especially with the Jin Fort shot. And now they're just getting themselves a lot of vision here around this dragon. Is going to be soul for them if they can manage to secure for themselves in 40 seconds. So Team Arcane would really have to contest this if they are going to have any hope remaining in the series. So Disco Drunk getting caught out once again, though. Manages to flash and ulti to stop Ted from getting a kill, but is going to be forced back to base. And kind of just means that, yeah, Arcanes just kind of have to concede this the soul. There's just really no way for them to contest whatsoever. And Arcane himself is caught out of position, getting all in here by Arkali here on the Silas. And the rest of his team is coming in to help him secure that kill. Jack Attack stealing out of the way there. And yeah, Arcane not playing with any kind of respect after seeing what happened there in mid lane. Gets punished for it super harshly. Feels like it is kind of just a completely lost game. Has felt like that for a while. It seems like they're going to put all their hopes into possibly trying to get a fight here around the Baron Pit, but they are a member down. Arcane not going to be alive for 15 seconds. It does have TP, but you feel like there's just not enough gold on their side to really make anything work. They are starting to kind of move in now, but you can see Krusty running interference here onto Curtis, trying to keep. Whistle is hovering, is same level as Jack Attack, so can steal this if they end up coin flipping it as the ulti get into the pit. And the ward has all the vision in the world. Krusty is just going to force the engage, though. Curtis getting his big stuns off. Oh, nice wombos coming in here from Witzel, but I just don't think there's enough gold in their pockets. Oh, actually, there's big shutdowns coming in through here. Ted is going to get chased down here. Arcane and Disco Drunk did a lot of damage in that fight. They will actually end up turning the fight around. The miracle fight that we've been kind of talking about all this time, with that kind of big CC combo and damage that can come out. They finally get it. Jack Attack is still alive, though. Witzel getting very low here against this Baron. Smites early. Oh, barely secured by Disco Drunk. Oh, that was so risky, but they managed to just get away with it. Holy moly. That was... Yeah. That is unfortunate for Jack Attack. Just didn't seem like he could get in range in time to smite steal that away. So we have Baron buff versus Ocean Soul. And even though they did manage to get the objective there and a nice fight, they've only kind of bought themselves a little bit of time. Witzel still hasn't reset here. He's just trying to power farm his cans before he goes for a fight, so they can't really make use of this Baron. I guess they couldn't really do anyway because there's just... Because if they tried to push, they can just get engaged on and probably just end up getting killed. Podger Pierce is very out of position though. Could end up getting engaged here on by Banner Potato, but actually will just end up walking away. So Banner Potato happy enough just to push waves in, kind of waste the Baron timer. It's very difficult when there's so much gold down to really make use of the Baron buff. We'll see now. Curtis has been trying to get some wards around, trying to look for a potential flank with that Rel. Again, I think they're mostly going to be just content to try get some gold in, try to hit or maybe their third item spike and before they really look for a proper fight. Unless they can make the punish. Curtis has gone in here over the wall though. Ulti onto Jack Attack and Crusty Pants. And the fight feels a little disjointed. Witzel Hecker multis onto 2 targets, but they're not really all that valuable, and there's none. The rest of the team isn't there to help. Meanwhile, another fight coming here on the backline. Disco Drunk, caught by the Mordecai ulti, will just go down here super quickly, and yeah, just the engage was just really kind of overdone there, I think, by Curtis, honestly, and extended by Witzel. They just felt really desperate. Really think they could have actually just taken their time to find another fight potentially like that one they had around the Baron, but because they kind of overextended, they do get kind of just torn apart by the wallets of Team Arkali, and they are going to end up taking significant damage to their base here. Don't think it's going to be the game-ending push just yet, but they will lose at least one inhibitor and an inhibitor tower. So respawn timers are going to come through, so they will secure themselves the mid inhib and the top tower. So I'm going to reset, get their gold, and then they should look to get the setup here onto the Elder Dragon, which is coming up in 1 minute. It's going to be a super crucial objective. Again, if your team Arcane, you kind of need to look for a similar setup to what you had in that last Baron fight, where you find picks at the back of the pit, you kind of get your CC combo off, and you just try to win the fight from there. But Disco Drunk has kind of reset really late, and it means that there's not enough members here from Arcane to kind of get this initial vision here. Curtis is kind of caught in no man's land, but Jack Tax doesn't have any support to kind of punish that, so both teams kind of feels a little bit sloppy with their vision setup here for the Elder. You can see priority getting gained here in bot lane by Vanishing Potato. He is a bit split up from his team though. You can see the rest of Arcanes are all kind of balled up here. They're ready to try to pull. They're looking for the signal to pull the trigger here onto any target. Crusty taking a lot of damage here from Arcane. And Disco Drunk with that W. Potato. He's looking for the flank, but Arkali did look like he's stolen the Malphite ulti, so it does have that engage tool himself if he wants to try start off a fight. Now, Vanishing Potato has started up the Elder here. Is taking a bit of damage. Oh, nice. Oh, nice combos coming out onto Disco Drunk. A lot of damage coming out here, though. Arkali using Zhonya's kind of buy himself some time. Krusty going pretty low, but there's just too much damage. Like, Vanishing Potato was able to keep wailing onto the back line of Team Arcane, and they are going to go for the game-ending push here. There was a glimmer of hope for Team Arcane, especially around that Baron fight, when they managed to secure them for themselves just barely, but yeah, ultimately that early and mid game was just too much in the end for them to overcome. Team Arkali will take themselves game 1 here. And we'll take a quick look here at the graphs. Ted Blonde doing a lot of work for his team, as well as Vanishing Potato. So really strong laning performances coming out from their bot and top laner, and also Arkali himself having a really good performance, at least in the early lane. Had that 1v1 kill onto Arcane, had decent enough roams to kind of get things going, and didn't actually, I don't think he ever died 1v1 to Arcane. He did get chunked out quite a bit, but wasn't down too much CS in the lane matchup, which I assume wasn't great, because you can see obviously Arcane putting out a lot of damage throughout the game, was trying to carry his team. But yeah, strong game 1 from Team Arkali. Definitely managed to play around the enemy kind of win condition really well, because they got those kind of lane leads and they translated them really well. Didn't really give Arcane any opportunities to actually kind of get their wombos off, but we'll see if Arcane can pull out anything different here in game 2. We'll be back to go shortly. And welcome back, everybody. We're at the champ select here for game 2 between Arkali and Arcane. After Team Arkali did manage to get themselves that win in game 1 with a pretty decisive victory overall, I would say. And we'll see how things change up now that Team Arcane are here on the blue side. They're same bands coming through from both sides so far. Although this time we do see the Tristana actually banned away here from Team Arcane, so I've opted not to take away any of those strong picks. The Jhin denied here by Team Arkali. Obviously, I think that is one of Disco Drunk's most played champions, so I think that makes sense. Teblond had denied it by picking himself here in game 1. Decided to ban it here in game 2. So it looks like Witzel will secure himself the Hecarim here on B1. We'll see what they end up answering over here. They are hovering at Caitlyn, but I would be pretty surprised if they do end up locking it in. I think she's fine, but I think there's just a lot. Yeah, there's much stronger AD carries kind of available across the board. Now the Morgana is locked in here for Krusty Pants. Obviously one of his most comfortable supports, which I think is fine. You could pair that with that Caitlyn that they hovered. Obviously that's traditionally like a really strong 2v2 bot lane. That's something that Ted would have a lot of experience with, but they will end up securing themselves the Udyr, which I don't know if was necessary here. Probably could have secured themselves a strong AD carry if they had wanted to, because they already know that the Hecarim is going into the jungle. We do see the Karma picked up here in return. Now this could be flex between support, mid or top, so we'll see what ends up happening with that. I'd imagine it's probably an answer into Morgana, because it's harder to play like a engage focused champion or another champion that Morgana can punish you pretty harshly, whereas Karma, with her powered Qs can chunk through Morgana even with the black shield. And Yoni also picked up here for Arcane, so definitely throwing down the gauntlet here. Wants to put on the carry pants this time around. Oh, and Arkali's signature Arkali picked here in response. Just turn down the music just a little bit. So this is going to be a spicy mid lane here, I hope anyway, between Arkali and Arcane. Saw a bit of 1v1 shenanigans in game 1 that did go in Arkali's favour, but otherwise it's mostly just Arcane kind of just poking him under turret and trying to get pressure based off of that. Let's see if anything more happens here in game 2 as second round bans coming through. They are going to deny that Caitlyn pairing with the Morgana. Meanwhile, the Brand and the Draven denied here over from Team Arkali. And the Morg guys are taken away from Vanish Potato. So they want to try give Podrick Pierce a bit more leeway here in top lane after definitely having a bit of a rough game 1. Kind of got smacked around for most of the game. As well as Disco Drunk, who's just getting absolutely bullied. I think ate several hooks. It looks like they are going to secure themselves Kaisa here for Ted Blonde, which has can be risky. Kind of has that Tristana like effect where you're going to go all in with the ulti and then be out of position and then just die. As is the known Ted Blonde thing to do. And the Viger picked here in response is interesting. Maybe a bit of a flex coming out here. Could be the Viger carry here for Disco Drunk. I think has shown it before in the previous Rivalry game. And the Maokai also hovered here. Likely going to go into top here for Podrick Pierce, but we'll see if they end up flexing that around or not. Kind of have a few different options you can go with here on Team Arcane. We'll see what Vanish Potato will get for himself here in response. may not quite know exactly what he's going to be going into, so has to really kind of consider his options. It looks like as a Nasus locked in. I'm not 100% sure about that, but we'll see what happens when we go into actual champion select. But it does appear to be Nasus that's locked in. And we'll get into the real champ select now. So that's interesting. I haven't seen Vanishing Potato play Nasus before. Obviously, that's more of a big Squav pick, to be honest. Squavo getting the DM from Adam. Very good. Oh, transfer that over now. There we go. Okay, so. So, kind of. It's hard to say how I really feel about these kind of two compositions. Because of the kind of flex shenanigans that Team Arcane kind of trying to pull off here. I feel like they have more cohesive 5v5 team fighting. Like they've kind of got these all-in tools with the Hecarim, the One, the Maokai. And you kind of have Carmen to help like speed up people or give them big AoE shields, so definitely helps a lot with that. Vigar is kind of more, I guess it gives them a lot of scaling in that sense, but it feels like they're kind of maybe lacking a bit of consistent damage. Especially for like their siege is really not great. They're going to struggle to break down towers later in the game. It's not like, although it's not like there's a great wave clear here for Team Arkali. Like the Kaisa herself is like probably like the best wave clearing champion. So we'll see how things work out. And get ourselves some spiked music going. Yeah, that'd be great. Whymsy would give my voice a little bit of a break here. I'm here on the Quantex Discord. Can everyone jump on? So it looks like the Maokai is going to go to Falker Pierce. So that should be a free enough lane here for Nasus. Means he can kind of just stack away without any real fear. And if he can keep scaling away, maybe just more or less kind of unmatchable in the side lane unless Arcane can kind of get himself to a point where he can just all in that Nasus. But yeah, very strange compositions coming out for both sides. I'm interested to see how this works out. Jack Tack does have that Udyr again, and had a pretty good game one. I think kind of definitely made a lot more impact on the map compared to Witzel. I'll see if he can kind of have a similar performance in game 2. But we'll take a short break, guys, as we go into spectator delay. And we should have David Williams joining me here in cast for game 2, which will definitely make things a little easier for me. So, back in a bit. And welcome everybody here to game 2 between Arcane's Angels and Arkali's Angles. Nailed it that time. As I am joined by fellow Dave, Mr. Whymsy himself. How's it going, my dude?
It's going good. I completely was ignoring absolutely everything that was happening today. I turned off my Discord early on, and then I think I checked it there about 10 minutes ago to find out that there were 2 games happening this evening, which I had no prior knowledge of, which is unfortunate. But yeah, just trying to relieve you a bit because obviously I know how tough the solo casts are. So yeah, looking forward to game 2 here.
Yeah, so looks like we have perhaps a bit of an invade coming out here by Team Arkali here. Obviously the Morgana level 1 can be quite potent. The Dark Binding lasting a very long time if it lands, but they are just going to get themselves some wards here on the Raptors. Just get themselves a bit of information. But yeah, it's been a spicy series so far. I don't know how much you've seen of it.
I unfortunately did not see any of game 1. I was kind of in the land of Satisfactory while I was watching the LEC stuff for the last day. But yeah, I had a quick look at the Battlefy stats from the first game. Looks as if the bot lane matchup went pretty significantly in favor of Arkali's Angles, which is definitely a good way of making sure that Arcane's Angels find it tough to get off the ground given their player composition.
Yeah, Krusty definitely having a big performance on the Thresh, which I wasn't expecting whatsoever. Definitely set them up for success there. So just taking a quick look here at the map. Both junglers starting under reds. Witzel going down pretty low here, but just might to get that level 2. So is just going to kind of power farm away. So Jack Attack also had like a pretty big performance here on game 1 on that Udyr. So be looking to see if you can kind of do something similar here, game 2.
One thing to note that was pointed out by Squavo in chat is Patrick Pierce did start off with Relic Shield here in game 2, which is an unfortunate pickup, I think, at the start of a game.
Krusty.
Flash binding here at level 2, and already Disco Drunk in so much trouble. The Ignite going down won't be enough to kill the Veigar, but even so, Teblon and Krusty Pants just picking up where they left off here.
Yeah, I mean,
laying down the law in bot lane.
Second game in a row, Krusty Pants and Teblon managed to get themselves the level 2 first and look for that all in. They don't get the kill this time around, but it puts so much pressure here on Disco Drunk, who's going to struggle to try get these stacks under tower as the Veigar.
So, yeah, it's definitely, I think, Veigar a comfortable pick for him, but I mean, given how that level 2 play happened, maybe a little less comfortable here as him and Curtis under a heap of pressure. But yeah, you wanted to have a quick look at the mid lane here. I mean, the Yone versus the Arkali, pretty skilled matchup, and Arcane one of the stars for his team in this case, on a champion that he has performed on before, so but definitely will need to in this scenario given how last game went and how this early game may be going.
Yeah, so we're seeing similar trade patterns coming out here. Arcane definitely putting a lot of pressure onto Arkali. Didn't really translate into any kind of 1v1 kills though, or much sideline pressure off the back of it, so we'll see if he can kind of do that this time around. But it is a spicy matchup. Both of these players on their kind of signature champions as they were as of late. And obviously 2 Assassin-like champions can be very flashy in how they play, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. Jack Attack though.
Yep. Gang coming through in the mid lane. Arcane leaping forward just to try to get a bit of damage as the Udyr waits patiently by the demon form, looking for the stun. The exhaust comes down, and actually Arcane seems to be fine for the moment.
Yeah.
Not having to expend. Well, he spent the exhaust to make sure that the Udyr couldn't stick too close to it. But Yone, he doesn't seem too phased by that first gang coming into his lane.
Yeah, maybe it could have been played a little bit different from Arkali, because I think maybe you could have hit him with the shuriken right, and then followed him back to when he dashed back. Maybe try to get a bit more like kind of all pressure once you had the sun come through from the Udyr, but obviously well played from Arcane to get out of that situation. Jack Attack is looking mid here again. Is kind of hovering at the moment.
Yeah, I think he knows exactly which member of Arcane's Angel he needs to shut down, and they're going in for it. Flash still available for the Iona if he wants to get out, although he's landing quite a bit of damage onto Arkali, but does eventually use his flash. This Udyr, though, still has ways to go. Nice knockback from Whistle. Will create a little bit of space and maybe turn this back around into a kill. And first blood to Whistle. In the nick of time, he both saves his mid laner and grabs himself an early kill on the Hecarim.
Yeah, that's super crucial coming through from Whittle there, helping out Arcane, who was under a lot of pressure to get out of that one. Means that he can kind of continue to stay in this lane, grab the CS and put pressure onto Arkali. Means there's also now an opening for Witzel to look at this dragon as he has priority in both lanes.
Yeah, this is nice movement here from Witzel just to capitalize on that with the space that he has. I think as well, just reaffirming the advantage that Arcane's getting for himself in the mid lane. You can see how confidently he's taking these trades. He's the first to level 6, and Jack Attack was clearly trying to unseat him in that 1v1. So Witzel managing to save things. Although Arkali actually flashing in to try find this Fate Seal, completely misses as Arkali was hiding out in the Shroud, and Arcane using the chance to go back in here. Second proc of perfect execution used though. Dave, I can hear you groaning after that one, but Arkali does escape.
Yeah, he does escape for that one, but felt like maybe if he had the timing on that shuriken just a little bit more patiently, probably could have gotten the kill off that too with the ulti damage and the escape, but does get away with his life, so at least he'll be happy enough with that. And yeah, is going to look for the reset now. It does have TP advantage over here, Arcane, so we'll get back to his wave sooner if he wants to try get the shove and maybe look for roams to help out his team a little bit.
And we'll see if there's anything he can do in that scenario. Top lane has been an island, as it does tend to be. Actually, we see it play on the bot side though, as we look at this. Blasco news, Jack Attack. He's just going to pop out of the bush as a big scary bear, but Disco Drunken Curtis far enough away. But a quick look back at top lane. I think Vanishing Potato on the Nasus here in game 2. A pick that certainly, when left alone, it can get quite scary, and maybe that's something that he was banking on here, although maybe left alone for not longer here, as both the Hecarim and Maokai are level 6. Ghost is used by Vanishing Potato to try get him to safety, but the knockback does come through, and the root as well. Teleport to try save them, and Fury of the Sands will give a little bit of extra health for Vanishing Potato. Thinking about going back in, and oh, sorry, my headphones just died, so I'm going to have to reconnect. In any case, Vanishing Potato does grab the kill there, looking for number 2 at the Whistle, and he does find it. Double kill for him in that scenario. Dave, I'm going to hand it back to you as I do tech issues on my side.
No problem at all. Yeah, huge fight coming out there in top lane. It was looking pretty dicey for Vanishing Potato for a moment, but the TP coming through from Arkali really saving his bacon, and then he ends up flashing to get that Q onto Patrick Pierce to secure himself the kill. Had the ulti to sustain through as well and get another kill onto... Oh, as Arcane is going to go down here, mid lane to Jack Attack.
That's a dead Yone coming in. Jack Attack finally makes something stick in the mid lane here. 3-1 now, and a pretty big swing in favor of Arkali's angles.
Yeah, and as I think we were saying, alluding before that came through in top lane, like Nasus kind of free just to stack up here in the top lane against a tank like the Maokai. Also built himself up a pretty significant CS lead, but 2 kills in his pocket as well is going to be pretty scary for Arcane's Angels to deal with as this game goes on. Will be a big, significant side lane threat, or even just teamfight threat, you know, if he goes into the back line with that Nasus ulti, it's going to be so hard to kill.
I wonder if Jack Attack is maybe going to change his plan of attack to working around this Nasus and really cementing the advantage he has and the ability to burn down some towers, given I think that what he's going for at this point. Yep, that's exactly what you wanted. The Whistle now looking for a play in the bottom side. Curtis is choked out, but still a nice angle here. Teblan with a well-timed flash, and Whistle maybe misdirected there. And with the flash used, well, both flashes right now down for the bot lane, and maybe Arcane can take advantage of his Fate Seal coming in. Teblan immediately healing, and Arcane can't get the damage out in time through the Killer Instinct to take down Teblan here. The focus coming through here for Arcane's Angels on the bot lane, but no kill secured.
Yeah, no kill secured, but Teblan has gotten significantly low under his turret. Doesn't have any summoners whatsoever, and it's just trying to grab whatever bit of CS he can. Meanwhile, Disco Drunk is just trying to get themselves a just a plate. Maybe look for the tower dive here with Witzel. Does have the devastating charge available if they decide to go for it, but Looks like they are not going to opt into that. Tedlon and Custer are just going to walk away from turret.
Yeah, not really with enough capital right now to try make a defense of that turret. It's not like the Veigar is going to burn through particularly quickly at this stage of the game either. So it's alright, even that they have the Hecarim there, they know where he is, and you can see Jack Attack already just taking as much as he can from the Hecarim's jungle on the opposite side of the map. And you can see the angle of attack at which Arcane's Angels are trying to find room for themselves in this game, but just given some areas of the map that are bleeding at the moment, especially towards this top side, it's still seeming pretty tricky for them, to say the least, given the first 10 minutes of this game.
Bobby Pierce, though, trying to get CC under tower, it's just going to get dove.
Yeah, here's the dive coming through. Yep, that is not much you could do, especially with the tanky items. The Mechai goes down. Witzel trying to see if he can find one back in the mid lane here as he jumps on to Arkali, but the Arkali is pretty handy at getting out of those scenarios. Top side, though, dead Maokai. Imagine the Rift Heralds being used to get even more gold into this Nasus, and this is exactly what you want to see for Arcane's Angels.
Yeah,
Arkali's angles.
I think Squeeville just called out in chat. It's almost just GG at this point. Like, Nasus is just so far ahead. It's going to get all that plate gold pockets.
No.
Witzel going to go down.
Witzel got spotted on the Drake. He goes down. That is... Oh, it goes from bad to worse, I think, for them in this early game. And anytime they think they have a ray of light, they lose it, just as they lose the Cloud Drake. Elemental Drake score equalized here. Jack Attack going to chase the Veigar, but not going to be able to catch him, I imagine. Although, certainly not one for a try in here. Flashing forward, but at that point, Veigar is still already far enough away that he's not going down. And maybe he could find something here with the Event Horizon, although Soul Shackles will force Disco Drunk to immediately back off. Still, 5-1 ahead. About 3,500 gold over their opponents. Arkali's Angles looking good again here in game 2.
Yeah, got themselves a very significant lead very early on in this game, just like game 1. I almost said Squelvo. Vanishing Potato going back to lane now with that Divine Sunderer super early on is going to, and only 20 stacks away from finishing that coal too, so it's having a large influx of gold coming into him at the moment. Very, very scary to deal with even right now, and it's going to get scarier just as the game goes on. Let's see now, just taking a quick look across the board. It is one dragon apiece. Oh, Curtis looking for the angle here.
Oh, yeah, Krusty Pants already chunked out. Black Shield is handy though, and Tedbot thinks he has one with the Killer Instinct. The Exhaust used in the heal as well, just to keep Disco Drunk standing here. But still, he's very far forward. Flashing forward in the Primordial Burst will net him the kill onto the Morgana. And right now, he's just cutting it out while the support cleans up the rest. Curtis gets one, Disco Drunk gets one, and that's a nice 2v2 play coming out for Arcane's Angels.
Yeah, this is exactly what they need at the moment. They need some point on the map where they are winning, and it is going to be in this bot lane as they get that 2v2 kill onto Tedblon and Krusty Pants. Secure themselves more time for this Veigar to scale up, get some plate gold into himself too. He's going to be really happy after getting that pickup.
Yeah, Disco Drunk and BGS Curtis have to be happy that they've flipped the fortunes of this matchup after kind of suffering a little bit at the hands of Teflon and Krusty Pants last game. However, I think they'll need the rest of their team to chip in a little bit here. Fate Seal by Arcane to try and get him out from the roam here. And now Whistle thinking he wants to re-engage here. Yone ultimate already used, and he's trying to find an angle into the fight. Arkali though just jumps onto the Hecarim instead. Jack Attack swings into the lane. Exhaust used onto this Udyr, but he's still going to run them down. Onslaught of Shadows to try and get them away. Arcane as well will find the angle out, but he knows he has to go back in with the demon form. Try to see if he can snipe one onto the Morgana, but he will go down. Arkali finds the kill, and things continue to go right here whenever the studio shows up for Arkali's Angles.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, the fight not going in favor there of Arcane and Witzel. It looked like they were quite close a couple times to get some trade kills, but unfortunately, both the Yone ulti and the Hecarim ulti just not really doing exactly what they wanted. See now, I keep about saying Squavo on his Nasus. It's Vanishing Potato. He's continuing just to run down.
Yeah. Not much to be said there.
Yeah.
As soon as he pops ore, you know that the Maokai is going down. Arcane, I'm not sure you really want to walk forward there, as Vanishing Potato is going to heal a lot with the inbuilt sustain on this Nasus here. Just a few siphoning strikes, chunks down half health. Witzel, the next challenger, approaches. Nasus out of his ultimate now, and Witzel happy to stick with this. The red buff doing a little bit of extra work for him here, but just a few swipes with the cane is more than enough to send anyone on the side of Arcane's Angels packing. And Vanishing Potato right now seemingly untouchable.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so little they can do against him right now. Teblon maybe caught out here again, though.
Yep, we see the engage come through. Teleport, though, to cover this one. And Teblon using the killer instinct to keep himself alive a little bit longer. Disco Drunk and BGS Curtis trying to make an escape, but immediately 4 people are in this bot lane. And that is already a dead Karma. Disco Drug swiftly follows. Nice collapse coming through to punish the aggression that Disco Drunk and BGS Curtis try.
Yep, they will end up going down there. Looks like they are going to secure this bot lane turret here for Teblon and Arkali. Got Mountain's Dragon coming up in the next minute too, so it's going to give them a lot of room to work with in terms of getting vision around that objective. And yeah, they're going to continue building up this lead. Nearly 5k gold in their pockets at the moment. Krusty looking for the angle here, just barely whiffs on the red bonding.
Yeah, I think Arcane managing to evade that one. However, I think the position of that Morgana, representative of the current pressure that Arkali's angles have on the map, and when he sees the Nasus walk forward, he knows better than to stick too close to the start. Although with a bit of backup, maybe he wants to try something. Black Shield on the Nasus, so he's not bothered too much by the Hecarim charging in at him. Arcane, though, nice Fate Seal combo. They go immediately onto Morgana and take out Krusty Pants. Vanishing Potato now finds himself 1 versus 4. Can he find the play here? Event Horizon will surely change that, and I think as big as his Nasus is, he's not big enough to take on the entire enemy team. He goes down, shut down onto that Yone as well. It's a nice direction for that to go, and nice play coming out from Arcane's Angels.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge pick. That's 2 people down now for this dragon fight, so it means that Team Arkali just can't fight for it. They're going to opt into getting the Herald instead to trade, and is going to delay any kind of slow win condition that they had. Also, the shutdown gold going to Arcane is exactly what you want at this point in the game. You kind of need him to kind of get online a bit sooner, so he can have more of a threat with those Fate Seal combos, as we were saying, along with the Hecarim, and try to kind of get that kind of sort of wombo going for you in future objective fights.
Yeah, if he doesn't have the shield bow after this back, then I'd say he's going to be quite unhappy. But you can see there, pops into the inventory halfway towards the 2 item spike that Yone tends to benefit quite a bit from. Curtis, though, he's in the process of being run down right now. Killer Instinct used to try to get to this Karma, but the Veigar are able to peel for his own support, and actually Witzel charging, and he thinks he can find the play here. Although I think just 1 charge and then realizing, all right, well, there's 4 of them actually, so yeah, maybe think better of it, and he can pretty much run away as quickly as he ran in. But as that goes to show, I think potentially some of the issues that team Arkali's Angles may face, diving into this Veigar Karma could prove itself to be quite tricky.
Yeah, for sure. The Event Horizon definitely can put in a lot of work to disrupt this engage that could come through from Team Arkali. And it's not like they have the most cohesive 5v5 team fighting, right? Like, it's not an awful lot of, like, easy to land CC. Like, it's very dependent on, like, Morgana landing the binding, Jack attack getting in the middle of somebody and, like, getting the bear slap off. And then kind of getting a follow-up off that. But other than that, there's very kind of little hard engage to work with. So, we'll see if Arcane's Angles can... Arcane's Angels. God damn it, I'm getting mixed up now. If they can actually look for it. Oh, 1v1 here, breaking out though.
Yeah. The mid lane showdown, Yone versus Arkali, and Fate Seal used by Arcane to try to stick to this. A lot of damage coming through, and Witzel going to back this up, try catch the distance, however, Arkali immediately steps back here. Krusty Pants finds himself alone. No flash for the Morgana was just used. It should be locked up here. The Zanya is just to delay the inevitable, and Witzel is the one who grabs that kill. However, on the bot side as well, Vanishing Potato, 1v1 against the Maokai, is happy for the moment to take the tower damage as he pushes away at the tower here. 1 kill in the top lane. Arcane's Angels showing they still have a lot of fight.
Yeah, they've managed to keep the gold pretty much where it was at the moment, although Vanish Potato is kind of continuing to have his way here in the 1v1 lane versus Patrick Pierce, who is just desperately just trying to like shove waves away from her turret. But more gold is going to go into his pockets, and yeah, at least they're still showing signs of life. Obviously, the big concern is, you know, who can deal with the Nasus. Jack attack looking for a collapse here.
I mean, Padraig Pierce, I think, was trying to deny the red buff take, and may have let herself into a dangerous situation. However, once again, the Veigar is there to back up any team members and deny a little bit of the engage this time with the Everfrost. And while the red buff was taken away, they don't lose the Maokai in the process. However, you can see the tower score. And with 4 of those 5 towers being taken in side lanes, this Nasus pressure really has been coming to bear on Arcane's Angels. And with the Baron coming up with that neutral objective to keep an eye on, that could prove itself to be an even trickier thing to watch out for. The Nasus in the side lane could do quite a bit of damage to the base if left unchecked, although right now they may be attempting to check him here if they can catch up with him. Dead Man's Plate, though, means that he is just fine and is going to wait for the next opportunity to split push again.
The other thing in too, like, Vanish Potato looking for the all-in here on Arcane.
Yeah, actually, as I said, a split push. He wants to fight here as he jumps onto Arcane, immediately half-healthing him. Shield Bow will offer him a little bit more survivability, and this CC seems to be pretty significant here. All 5 collapse onto him to take him down, but the rest of Arkali's angles just take the free time to use the Rift Herald in the mid lane and get a charge on that inhib tower. They're not quite able to stick to it to take down the tier 3, but still, once again, they got one in the mid lane because that was the first charge coming through, so just using this Nasus as a big old distraction to get even more for themselves on the map.
Yeah, Vanish Potato definitely feeling himself a little bit there, but ultimately does pay for the disrespect in the 1v4. And you know, obviously it's not the worst. You know, they did manage to trade some gold back, and obviously a lot of damage here onto the inhibitor tower. But ultimately should be fine. Arcane's Angels do have the inside track here on the dragon. They have a bit more vision in place, but Arcane himself has actually just gone for the reset, so, and doesn't have like a TP to join them, so will not be here if a fight kind of breaks out for control.
Yeah, I think it's a little tricky for them to push into spaces. Disco Drunk actually sticking to that. Does take a biting and Killer Instinct as well to try catch him out. Was a bit eager fishing for the play. Uses the exhaust after the flash to make sure that Jack Attack can get onto him. Maybe they want to see if they can pick up this Udyr before the Drake spawns. All the focus goes onto him, but he's able to run away. Running back in for the bear slap, and Arcane takes a heap of damage from Jack Attack and Arkali, but he's still standing. No casualties as of yet, but control of the Drake pit itself in favor of Arkali's angles. And no real entry point for Arcane and his team at the moment.
Yeah, you saw Vanish Potato took no damage from the Vigor whatsoever from that poke. He's just so tanky here on the Nasus before he even uses the Shifting Sands.
Oh, Nature's Grasp used. Nice little CC combo at the front of the fight here. Immediately going for this Udyr, but they can't get him. And Podrick Pierce is taken out at the start of the fight. Witzel dives the backline with Arcane immediately onto 10th line as they try and take him down. And they clean up the kills at the back of the fight, although Arcane immediately walks back into an Arkali and a Nasus, and he can't quite fight them as easily. Double kill for the Yone, but he should, or actually triple kill, but he will fall in the end as Crusty Pants and Vanishing Potato able to take him out. That Nasus doing work on the back line the whole time. Veigar the only survivor for Arcane's Angels, and that's likely going to be second Drake of the game going over.
Yeah, Disco Drunk.
Arkali's angles.
He's looking for the potential steal here with the Veigar. Don't know if he's going to be able to get it. Could be pretty risky if Chris lands that binding, but ultimately we'll just go over with the Decane to Vanishing Potato. They do get themselves 2 dragons apiece now.
Yeah, just making sure that Arcane's Angels don't find themselves in a position where they can rush you with the threat of the Dragon Soul. Making sure that they keep that timer still ticking away with 2 Drakes apiece. Now the big objective on the map is that Baron, but given how much space that Arkali's Angles have created on the map, given the 6 towers that they've managed to take, you have to assume that it would be easier for them to kind of control these spaces around the Baron. They can just push in and get vision a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, obviously, Vanish Potato's going to continue to push here in the bot lane. He does have the spellbook available, so eventually that exhaust will turn into a TP. And obviously, the other nice thing about their composition. Oh, Witzel looking for the engage.
Witzel, he's thinking of it, but the Black Shield will deny him the CC coming through from the Heck Room. Still trying to stick to, and the Onslaught of Shadow is actually used to get out of there. A bit of an awkward attempt there from Witzel, and using the Heck Room ultimate and the Ghost. Not exactly what you want to see, given if he wants to try Diver to start a fight.
Yeah, and he kind of did it very disjointedly from his team, so they weren't really there to offer any follow-up, even if he had landed the CC. So definitely kind of pulling the trigger just a bit too early there. Now it kind of gives Arkali's opening to kind of start shredding this Baron, especially with this Kaisa, which was trying to make a point of, like, he shreds this objective super quickly. Meanwhile, Nasus is going to just push away here in the bot lane.
Yeah, the Nasus and the Barons could force them to make a decision. And actually, turning back on the fight here, nice binding landing onto Arcane, and he's not really sustaining through any of this damage at all. Witzel now swings up topside just to make sure that they have that covered. Disco Drunk offering support to Podrick Pierce in that bottom lane, because otherwise they will lose their inhibitor tower. So Arcane's Angels down numbers at the top side. You see Vanishing Potato popping Furies of the Sands, try to get to his Veigar, flashing forward, exhausting as well. He is doing everything to take Disco Drunk down, and as soon as he can get in range, that Veigar drops. Meanwhile, 4 vs 3 on the top side is perfect for Arkali's Angles. They start off by taking a Whistle, a 3-man face seal. Major things for Arcane here. He gets the shutdown onto Ted Blonde, drops right back into the Udyr and the Arkali. Sets his sights first on Jack Attack. It's a double kill for Arcane here, and he has more health than the rest of them here. Looking for Arkali, make that a triple. If he can find the Morgana, that would be 4 for him. But at what cost as we go back to his base going down? Curtis gets the kill, and immediately the recalls come through, but they've lost their tier 3 in the bot lane already, as Vanishing Potato on his push on his own cannot be stopped.
Yeah, but they're continuing to scrap out this game. They've managed to deny the Baron at the very least, and haven't lost their inhibitor in the end to the Nasus quite yet, so they're hanging in there, man. Like, Arcane is absolutely huge on this Yone pick at the moment, putting in so much damage with those combos, is turning into a really big threat that's going to be harder for Team Arkali to deal with. Again, they don't have the most reliable CC in the world, apart from, like, you know, if you manage to have a new deer right on top of him in that moment. So if you can't change CC to you know, the Yone, he's going to continue to kind of just glide through these fights, have the sustain, and just have absolute raw damage to kind of keep countering them.
Yeah, we look at that 4,000 goal lead in favor of Arkali's Angles, but I mean, Nasus is right now 6,000 gold up on the Maokai. So it turns out that when it comes to the rest of the team, if it does come down to a 4v4, then they do face a deficit, potentially shown there by Arcane, popping off in what was a 3v4 for his team. He was able to get enough done in that scenario to win the fight completely. And it does ensure that this potential of a split map here, as we see actually an engage coming through here. Fate Seal is used to catch out Krusty Pants. Can't quite kill him just yet. The onslaught of shadows as well. Not putting Witzel in the right position to do that one. Meanwhile, Curtis has been picked off by Teblon on the back line here. Heal to try get this Karma away in the route as well, meaning that Curtis can escape. Teblon now collapsed on by everyone else who was previously trying to pick off the rest of his team. Arcane 10-3-2 on a rampage now. However, look who's been left alone in the bot lane. Say goodbye to your bot lane inhibitor. Vanishing Potato going to take that one away.
Ted, what are you doing, man? Like, he getting the assassination off onto the Karma deep into the enemy jungle, gets himself caught out there. Vanishing Potato's going to get caught out here too, is trying to fight back 1v4.
Oh yeah, but he immediately goes for Arcane here. Exhaust is used on the Vanishing Potato and it's dying a little bit of damage, as well as all of the crowd control they can stack. Arcane has to keep himself in melee range to chip away at this Nasus, which proves to be quite risky in a few cases, but the sustain is enough. They take him down as 5, raid boss down, and maybe they can turn their attention towards this Drake with the Nasus off the map for the next 40 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, they have the numbers advantage here. They definitely should look to get this and put themselves into the sole point position. And yeah, Jack Attack is not going to try to contest this. Dragon's going to go down really, really quickly.
It's just making sure that they keep on top of that objective whenever it's up 3-2 now on the Drake score, and they have themselves sole point for when that next spawns in just under 5 minutes. Jeez, this has been a scrappy game from Arcane's Angels. The top lane has not gone well for them, as this Nasus has pretty much had free reign for most of the game, but they've been doing what they can to just take these fights whenever they can, play off the back of the fact that their Yone is now huge, 3.5 items in with the QSS, proving to be quite crucial in these scenarios. However, you can see Arkali's Angles taking the opportunity to do this Baron, and seemingly no movement towards this yet. We know how quickly the Kaisa can burn through this, and this is looking like it's going to be the Baron over without a contest coming through from Arcane's Angels. They're moving up now, and they will spot everyone in the pit, but it is too late. That's going to be secured by Jack Attack, and a nice Baron takeaway will really turn the heat onto Arcane's Angels now.
Yeah, now that gives them a lot of room to work with. Vanishing Potato can once again go onto a side lane with the Nasus, who again, you know, in most 1v1 scenarios doesn't have, you know, a lot of kill threat against him. Maybe the Yone at this point could probably look to do it, but even then, you know, the shifting stance can buy him so much time. But now they have this Baron buff again to work with. They can kind of build them. You kind of use this 1-4 split. Try to maybe take the mid and top inhibitor as that bot lane is already down. Super minions kind of pouring in there.
I mean, the one worry is that this Nasus has a ton of armor, so if Arcane does try to stop him 1 versus 1, I would be skeptical as to right now whether he can do anything to Vanishing Potato. You can see now the setup here, although the immediately whistle is going to pull the trigger on the engage, going straight for the backline. This Morgana has been left completely alone as Krusty Bats tries to find an escape route, but he will fall. However, nothing really coming of the Hecarim diving the backline, and still, that was a 5v4. Vanishing Potato just ignoring it and completely and making sure he gets the inhibitor. Now, once again, Raid Team Arcane's Angels trying to see if they can take down the mythic boss here. This Nasus is going to take a while to choke through though, and the rest of Arkali's angles just getting the mid in him for themselves in this scenario. This Nasus just survives for so long with all 5 members on him. That primordial burst seemingly doing nothing to him, and that they lose their mid in him as well.
And their base.
They get 2 kills for nothing, but they lose 2 of their inhibitors. It's just the pressure that this Nasus brings, the attention that he draws, is uncombatible by Arcane's Angels.
Their base is in tatters. Like, there's all 3 inhibitors are down. It's so hard to deal with double waves of supers at the moment. That's going to be coming in at all angles. Now, there's no objectives in the next couple of minutes for Team Arkali to try, like, kind of punish that with. So maybe they're just going to look for the resets and maybe just look for the end. If they can kind of get their waves synced up. That's what I would likely look at, because I don't think you want to give Arcane more time to get even more, to try to get that, you know, that final item into his pockets. He's nearly level 18. It's going to be the strongest he is ever going to be in this game. Also, Veigar is still continuing to scale himself, so I think you want to look to try end this game sooner rather than later.
I'm trying to think, have we seen a single 5v5 this entire game? I'm pretty sure that Vanishing Potato has just stayed as far away from the rest of his team as possible, especially in the last 10 minutes or so. He's been dedicated to staying in those side lanes and split pushing.
Yeah, I think I saw one TP early on in the game, and that was it. Where he joined his bot lane, but other than that, yeah, has been very much stuck on the side lane. Is joined up with his team now here though in the mid lane. Looks like they've got their waves crashing in top and bot, and they're trying to score waves in, fishing for a fight here. Have to be very respectful here of Arcane though, who is
Arcane jumping in, using the QSS, and actually Vanishing Potato looking for an angle on the side of the fight, locked into the event horizon here, but Arkali going to take up the mantle and dive the back line. You can see them kiting back away from this Arkali, and it should be Arkali falling here in the back of the team. Meanwhile, Witzel trying a dive of his own. This Hecarim just does not have the damage to really make that stick. Arcane trying to see if he can find the Kai'Sa, and he does. However, he will give his life over for it. That is a big loss for his team here right now. A 2-for-1 at the start of this fight only, as he gave his life for just the Kai'Sa. Disco Drug trying to see what he could do, but he's locked in his own event horizon with the Zood as Jack Attack just harasses him away, and the rest of Arkali's angles goes for the Nexus Towers instead of the champions here. Both of them down. This Nasus should be able to choke through the next just a few more hits here. Disco Drug doing anything he can to stay alive, but his team's hopes of staying alive in this game dashed, and it's a 2-0 series for Arkali's angles.
Yeah. Seems like the curse of the 1-1 is truly broken here in Group B, as this is our second 2-0 after the other 2-0 yesterday between Platodig and Seder. So, yeah, starting to see teams kind of pull away in this group now, and big performance here coming through from the lads on Team Arkali, especially Vanishing Potato. Both games. Game 1 had a really strong performance on the Mordekaiser, kind of just completely bullied out Patrick Pierce throughout the whole game. But game 2, like, the Nasus was absolutely redonkulous. Like, such a smart pickup to punish the blind pick tank in the top lane, and obviously getting those 2 early kills really just snowballed them ahead.
Yeah, definitely. It was a. I mean, you can see the damage graph. Just it kind of shows which members of each team were on one this game. The Yone and the Nasus significantly ahead of pretty much everyone. But I think, as you said, I think one of them was specifically geared to play around the weaknesses of Arcane's Angels, and did so excellently, despite the fact that they were finding these good fights and keeping themselves close in terms of goal. They just had they were just bleeding pressure anytime they left this Nasus alone. They had to commit so much to try to take him down at any stage, and yeah, it resulted in quite a nice win despite a good fight put up by Arcane's Angels.
Yeah, for sure. So that is going to do us here for the series between Team Arkali and Team Arcane. I'm going to throw you guys over to OBK, who I believe is doing a POV stream of their series that's happening right now. So we shall talk to you guys in a little bit.
Okay, see you all.